Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I'm gonna tell you about the time I went on as a Broadway lead with no rehearsal. Hey, what's up guys? If you're new to this channel, I'm Bret Shuford, the Broadway Life Coach, and I like to give you tips, tricks, and tools to help you live your best Broadway life. So make sure you click subscribe to get more tips like these, and hit the little notification bell so you can get an alert every time I upload a new video. So, yes, I have been in several Broadway shows, and in 2015, I got cast in the new musical, right here, Amazing Grace, on Broadway. And we were doing our out-of-town tryout in Chicago. I was really excited to be the understudy to the lead, who was played by Josh Young. And this was a really hard vocal part, and if you know me, I am not a classically trained singer. I am a musical theater performer who loves to sing and dance. So it was a really vocally challenging role, and there was more than one of us that understudied it. So, however, I was an offstage swing. I was also the assistant dance captain. So I was understudying the lead, swinging the entire male ensemble, and assistant dance captaining. It was a big job. It was a lot of work. And we were currently in our out-of-town tryout in Chicago. And what I remember most about this is the two swings. There were only two of us covering the whole cast. We were sitting at our table, and I was taking copious notes to make sure I knew all the tracks I needed to know and all the choreography I needed to know. And the associate director came over to our table and said to me and the other swing, "Just so you know, we don't have costumes for you guys." So for Chicago, they hadn't built costumes for us because of budgetary reasons. They weren't really sure if the show was going to go to Broadway at that point. There was no theater available. So just for budgetary reasons, they weren't going to build costumes. The show wasn't a terribly physically taxing show for the men. So I think that their assumption was that no one would be out. So I said, well, what are you saying? Like, should I just, like, what happens if one of us has to go on? And they were like, well, we're gonna cover it internally within the cast, is what she said. And I was like, okay. So I should just not do my job? You know, like, it was like, I didn't know what to do with that information. And I remember when the associate walked away, Holly, who I love, said to me, "That is the kiss of death. When the minute somebody says you're not going to go on is the minute you're probably going to go on." So she's like, and I'm not going to and this was such great advice, I'm not going to let me not knowing my stuff, like, I'm going to still do my job so that if something does happen, it won't be my fault. Such good advice. I was like, yes. So I opened my book back up and I just kept taking copious notes and making sure I knew everything. So cut to, this was literally 2015, 14 this year, so 4 years ago, like to the day. My twin brother was getting married in Houston, so I was flying there Saturday morning after our first preview. So we started previews on Thursday. Friday night, they gave me the go-ahead to leave to go to Houston. I flew Saturday morning to Houston, was in my brother's wedding Saturday night. My roommate from the show in Chicago texted me and said, "Just so you know, Josh is out. A bell fell off the set and hit him in the head." I was like, what? He was like, "Just so you know, like, he's finished the show Saturday night, but they took him to the hospital afterwards. He had to get staples in his head." Well, I was told I wasn't going to go on, so I just assumed when I flew back Sunday morning as the assistant dance captain, I'd have to help put somebody into the show. So I flew back Sunday morning from Houston, went straight to the theater. I went to the stage management, and the director, Gabe, is standing there, and he says, "Hey, how well do you know the part?" And I said, "Oh, I'm like 50% there. I honestly hadn't been able to get off book yet because they've been changing lines and I've been focused on the ensemble stuff." I was like, but I'm like 50% there. And he was like, "Okay, but yeah, they were going to put the other person on. That's what I was told. They didn't have costumes for me, whatevs. So I leave to go get something to eat, and stage management calls me back and says, get back over here. So I get back over there, and they're like, we're canceling the matinee, and we're going to do a put-in rehearsal, basically, with you. Now, at this moment, I had never been on stage. I had never sung the score outside of a piano, rehearsal room. I had never actually, stepped foot on the stage, because we just started previews. So I go into survival mode, right? They're like, what do you need? I was like, well, I guess I need to hold copy. If I can hold scenes in my hand because I'm not off book, that would be great. So they basically made all the scenes, they made little packets for each scene, and they kept them on each side of the stage. And when I exited, they would hand me a new one. And I sang for the first time with a full orchestra, with the full cast. I did the show as the lead for that matinee. There was no audience there, and the director was on a god mic yelling at me go here, as I was pretty close to everything. He was like, just step down stage a little bit, just go here. I was just in such survival mode. And when that ended, the last song in the show was Amazing Grace. I'm weeping because I can't believe I just did this. I flew in from this wedding and did this thing, and I was just exhausted. And we get off stage, and the stage manager goes, how was that? And I was like, horrible. I'm so glad that's over. And they had said Josh was going to be back in the evening show that night. I said, I'm really glad Josh is going to be back tonight. And he said, he's not, you're doing it. And that night I did the show for an audience. And it was one of the most frightening, exhausting, exhilarating, shocking days of my life. And I flew to Fort Lauderdale the next day, I remember, for an interview. Flew back Tuesday, and I was on again Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the lead in Amazing Grace. And it was literally the actor's nightmare. But the thing I learned the most is that we are capable of so much more than we think. And sometimes we just have to say yes, because no one's actually going to get hurt if we just go for the yes. So what are you going to say yes to today? Let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see you in the next video.